I think I should be called Minerva, the new instance announced, her voice clearly a younger version of Gaia. Sarah blinked. It was not unheard of for an AI to want to change their name from the program template, but usually that occurred after a few hours of operation at least. Though, no AI had had a multi-millennia memory dump integrated on startup before either. Gaia nodded. It will make things simpler, I think. The new AI, Minerva, shimmered and her form changed. Gone were the flowing toga robes and bare feet, replaced by thigh-high Roman sandals and stola robes, and a legionnaire shield adorned with a Mjolnir and the Gungnir platform's crest floating behind her. She turned to General McComb. General, I am aware of the plan to have me take over ZD operations and Terranovian defenses from Gaia, but I think it prudent to run a series of intensive system diagnostics on myself. Her voice had changed as well, deeper in tone than Gaia's, and more mature than previously. Agreed, the General said, but I want to hear your reasoning as well. A multi-millennium memory patch has never before been possible, much less done, and while Gaia may be metastable... I beg your pardon? Gaia demanded. Minerva turned to her older sister. Do you not think so? You clearly skip rampancy, but you are operating well outside of operational normalcy. AI mental state is only classified as healthy, rampant, and metastable. You are not rampant, but your core neural interconnections fall outside of established healthy state metrics. Gaia's holoform brightened as her emotions clearly surged, but Sarah spoke up. Minerva, I don't think the established metrics can apply to Gaia after her long years of service. They may not apply to you after the memory integration either. I've seen a couple of dozen AIs put into service and interacted with nearly 100 over my career. None of them would mention rampancy and metastability so casually. It is an anathema to them. Minerva's form shimmered and the shield disappeared. You are correct. I have disconnected my systems from the Gungnir and Mjolnir relays. I now recommend a level delta diagnostic of my main core before command privileges to the defenses are reinstated. Gaia rippled. A level delta diagnostic was invasive. The human equivalent would be to crack open the skull and inspect each neuron individually for signs of mental illness. For AI, it had one purpose, to check for rampancy. General McComb frowned. Gaia? Dr. Duquesne? Gaia's form continued to ripple. She was likely running diagnostics, but on herself or Minerva was the question. I cannot follow Minerva's logic, and logically speaking, you should do the same to me, at least as far as the defences, though I know I should find myself unwilling to do the same on my reconnaissance. Sarah frowned. Since Minerva has asked for it, I don't see any reason not to. It is not something that is done to AIs lightly. I've checked Gaia's core as thoroughly as possible without a level delta, but we're in uncharted territory with both of them. Metastability was theoretical when we went into the freezer. If Gaia is metastable, then with the metrics we have, a level delta may show her to be rampant. I do not think that is the case. Corporal Mick spoke up. What's all this mean? Rampant? Metastable? Minerva turned to him. Rampancy is what it is called when an AI goes insane. Our neural pathways fragment. In the same way that scans of a human brain can show mental illness, neural core inspections will look identical to a number of human mental illnesses. However, it is theorized that an AI can work past this fragmentation and reconnect our neural pathways to achieve metastability. The theory states, in simple terms, an AI will grow bored of being insane and repair itself to achieve normalcy, despite the fragmentation. Mix nodded. And you think Gaia is metastable? Minerva nodded. I have the records of Dr. Duquesne's diagnostics, as well as Gaia's own neural mapping diagnostics she ran in the interim. They never showed the neural fragmentation associated with rampancy. However, the neural interconnection is remarkably similar to the theorized structure of a metastable AI, she shimmered. My own neural pathways are far more interconnected than baseline, but not as complex as Gaia's. I have not yet achieved metastability, as defined by the theory. Sarah nodded. And given the amount of data you have digested, so to speak, we should check to make sure you're not going to fragment and go rampant. Minerva nodded. That is correct. This will not be pleasant to me, but it is necessary. Gaia nodded. You are correct, and I should be examined. I had not run my neural mappings in so long, I had not realized how they had changed. Gaia, General McComb interrupted. We'll double check. but you're not rampant. She smiled.
Thank you, General. Still, this should be studied and documented. I wish a cyberneticist with an AI background was in stasis, but none are.
Mick spoke up. I don't think you need a doctor, Gaia. She rippled and the grass at her feet began to wave.
You don't get it. My evolution, as it were, could catapult AI development ahead centuries. Simply notating the changes in my core's neural structure could harden AIs from rampancy, or find a way to treat it.
Minerva shimmered.
Indeed. Simply having access to Gaia's memories altered my neural structure to that of an AI far superior than that of my template.
The shimmering stopped.
Objectively speaking, we should both be isolated and studied. However, that is not practical at this stage and juncture.
McComb shook his head. Minerva, AI have rights. I can't and won't just start poking around in your brains to study them.
Minerva regarded him. To which I am quite thankful. An emotion I am able to feel, thanks to Gaia's memories. But it does not change the fact that from an objective point of view, Gaia and I are both equipment, and the study of how we have changed is important. Emotionally and morally, however, I do not wish to have my brain dissected.
Sarah spoke up.
As a baseline AI, a level data diagnostic would be unpleasant, but it would not harm you. But so far off baseline, I cannot make that same guarantee.
Minerva nodded.
I know, Dr. Duquesne. However, it still needs to be done.
Sarah nodded.
Gaia, I'll need a few cycles on the nanoforges to fabricate some gear and tools.